Here are the 10 U.S. cities where rich black families are quietly moving right now, and the map is changing faster than most people realize. One Texas city on this list has become a top 3 market for black professionals, even though black residents are less than 1 in 10 people. Outside Washington, another majority black county now has household income above $122,000 and homeownership above 80%. And you'll be surprised to know that the #1 city on this list is not Atlanta. It is the metro that just beat everybody in America for black population growth. Let's get into the full countdown. Number 10. Jacksonville, Florida. Let's start with the Florida city that somehow watched the rest of the state get wildly expensive and forgot to join the performance. Jacksonville crossed 1.01 million residents in 2025. Nearly 30% of the city is black, and the metro's black population keeps growing. From 2020 to 2023, the Jacksonville metro added more than 18,000 black residents, and the newest estimates put its black population around 385,000. The housing math helps explain why. Jacksonville homes sold around a $300,000 to $5,000 median in spring 2026. In Florida, that now feels almost suspiciously reasonable. The job base helps too. Jacksonville mixes finance and fintech, Jacksport Logistics, a huge military community, and healthcare anchored by names such as Mayo Clinic and Baptist Health. So the newcomers include veterans, medical workers, finance professionals, and managers who want coastal Florida without letting the mortgage eat the whole paycheck. Then there is the Watley family. Nakita Kitty. Watley left mortgage underwriting, moved back in with her mother to save money, and built a cleaning company with her siblings. By 2025, News4JAX reported that the family had expanded into 10 ventures, including Kitty's Car Wash. Salary became business. Business became family payroll. That is exactly the move this list is tracking. Jacksonville gets you Florida at a still manageable buy-in. Number 9 trades the beach for rockets and much more technical paychecks. Number 9. Huntsville, Alabama. We are kicking this off with a city where your next-door neighbor might be working on a missile defense system and still complain about the price of eggs at Publix. Huntsville is one of those places that sounds small until you look at what is actually sitting there. The city passed 233,000 people in the latest 2025 census estimate. Nearly 3 in 10 residents are black, and the local median household income is about $74,700. More importantly for this list, the economy is built around the kind of jobs that make 6-figure family incomes feel normal rather than exotic. Aerospace, defense, engineering, federal contracting, and advanced manufacturing. Redstone Arsenal is the giant in the room. NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center is here. Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and a whole constellation of contractors orbit the place. In other words, this is a city where government job can mean somebody who has a security clearance, an engineering degree, and a garage large enough for 2 SUVs. And the black professional class is not just collecting salaries. It is building companies inside that ecosystem. Kim Cottle Lewis and her husband Larry Lewis started Project XYZ in Huntsville in 2002. It began as a minority and woman-owned small business and grew into an engineering, logistics, and government services company with nearly 300 employees. In 2025, the U.S. Small Business Administration named Kim and Larry Alabama's Small Business Persons of the Year. That is the Huntsville pitch in one family. You do not have to leave the defense economy to own a piece of it. For affluent black families coming from higher-cost cities, that math is getting hard to ignore. A couple working in engineering, cybersecurity, healthcare, or government contracting can still find newer housing, strong suburban school options, and enough land that the backyard does not feel like a decorative suggestion. Now, Huntsville is not perfect. Federal budgets move, aerospace hiring can cool, and a city tied this closely to Washington will always feel a little twitch when Congress starts arguing. But the broader direction is obvious. Huntsville has become the place where highly educated black families can chase serious technical careers without automatically signing up for serious coastal housing pain. Rocket City is building wealth with rockets. Our next stop is stranger because black residents are a much smaller share of the population, Yet the economic numbers keep telling professionals to look twice. Number 8. San Antonio, Texas. San Antonio is the city on this list that makes people squint at the screen and ask, "Wait, really?" And yes, really. Black residents make up only about 7% of the city, so this is not Houston, Atlanta, or Washington, where a large black professional network is visible everywhere. But a 2025 analysis of the best U.S. cities for black professionals ranked San Antonio third in the country and second for economic opportunity. Black employment in that analysis was around 94%. That is the interesting part. San Antonio is not winning because it has the biggest black population. It is winning because the people who are there are finding work. The economy has a very sturdy mix: military installations, healthcare, cybersecurity, financial services, and logistics. The city is literally nicknamed Military City USA, which means a constant stream of officers, veterans, physicians, engineers, and federal workers cycling through with stable incomes and benefits. Texas adds the familiar bonus of no state individual income tax. Speaking of cities where sharp planning beats a famous zip code, a lot of it comes down to how the brain performs when it matters. That's the idea behind an audio series called The Genius Switch. It's based on the neuroscience of the flow state, that mode where focus and creativity click at the same time. And the whole routine is just listening with headphones a few minutes a day. It's a one-time $39, less than a single online course, and it's backed by a 90-day money-back guarantee, so you can test it on yourself with nothing to lose. If you're watching on your TV, pause and scan the QR code on screen with your phone camera, or tap the first link in the description. Now, back to Texas and the people who planted their flag here decades ahead of the crowd. And if you want to see what long-term black ownership looks like here, meet the Shields family. Catherine and Charles Shields moved to San Antonio in 1980 and became the city's first black McDonald's franchisees. Their daughter Veronica Shields Witter basically grew up in the restaurants. She jokes that the play place was her babysitter, then spent 11 years building a corporate career with BNSF Railway before coming home to the family business. Today, she owns and operates McDonald's locations in Converse and Windcrest and is the only black female McDonald's franchisee in San Antonio. That is a very Texas version of generational wealth. Dad opens the first store, mom keeps the business alive through tragedy, daughter leaves, learns corporate America, then comes back and owns the drive-thru. For higher-income families relocating now, San Antonio offers a similar proposition. You can have the large metro job market without paying Dallas or Austin prices for every square foot. The citywide median household income is only around $65,000, but that actually helps explain the opportunity for professionals earning well above it. Your salary can buy more lifestyle here than it does in the coastal cities sending people south. San Antonio is the sleeper. Our next city has the opposite problem. Everybody knows the name, but most people still think the economy begins and ends with a mouse wearing red shorts. Number 7. Orlando, Florida. Orlando has a branding problem. The world sees theme parks. The migration data sees moving trucks. From 2020 to 2023, the metro added nearly 33,000 black residents, the sixth biggest gain in that census-based comparison, and its 2025 black population reached about 527,000. The city itself has grown more than 8% since 2020, and the economy is broader than the souvenir shops suggest. Central Florida has deep healthcare, aerospace, defense, and simulation industries. Orlando's simulation workforce alone tops 45,000. Somebody in that Lake Nona house may be building military flight systems, not roller coasters. The catch is price. Orlando is no longer cheap. Homes sold around a $410,000 median in spring 2026. But prices had softened slightly. Florida has no individual state income tax, and a high-income family leaving New York or California can still look at that number and ask, wait, that buys the whole house? You can see the ownership side in Monica May and George Ashford. The married couple owns CB Bistro. George brought decades of food and catering experience, while Monica built a career in radio and communications. In 2025, they described the business explicitly as a vehicle for generational wealth. Orlando gets the attention from entertainment, but plenty of wealth is being built behind the curtain. Orlando gives you growth, sunshine, and a 500,000-person black metro. Number 6 swaps theme parks for research parks and makes biotech sound like a housing strategy. Number 6. Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. If you put 3 major universities, a giant research park, and a rapidly growing southern metro in a blender, you get Raleigh-Durham, a place where the family at the school pickup line might include a physician, a biotech scientist, and somebody whose job title contains the words Senior Vice President for reasons nobody fully understands. Raleigh itself reached about 506,000 residents in 2025. Roughly 27% of the city is black, and the median household income is about $85,400. Across the larger Raleigh-Cary metro, the latest 2025 estimates count more than 309,000 black residents, while neighboring Durham-Chapel Hill adds another large black professional base of its own. The wealth engine is obvious. Research Triangle Park sits between Duke, UNC, and NC State, pulling in pharmaceutical, healthcare, life sciences, and technology employers. North Carolina Central University adds a major HBCU pipeline right in Durham, while Shaw and St. Augustine's keep deep black institutional roots inside Raleigh itself. But here is the useful part. The current story is not some history tour version of Black Wall Street. People are trying to turn the new money into actual property before the region gets too expensive. Lavelle Moten, the head basketball coach at North Carolina Central, co-founded Raleigh Rays Development and in 2025 broke ground with Raleigh Area Land Trust on the cottages of Idlewild. The project is creating 18 homes in a historically black neighborhood near downtown, with most of the units designed to remain permanently affordable through a land trust model. That may not sound like a rich family flex, but it tells you exactly what is happening in the market. Property values have climbed so quickly that the people building wealth here are now thinking about preservation, not discovery. The cheap secret is already leaking. For affluent black movers, the attraction is the professional ladder. A family can come for a pharmaceutical job, a university role, a medical career, or a remote executive position, then buy in a metro where household incomes are already above the national level, and the airport can get you back to New York, DC, or Atlanta without turning travel into a personality trait. The triangle gives you degrees, jobs, and equity. Our next city takes that same educated professional formula and adds something slightly more dangerous to your wallet: bankers. Lots and lots of bankers. Number 5. Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte has figured out a very effective way to attract ambitious black families. Put a giant banking industry in the middle of the South, pay people real money, then surround downtown with neighborhoods where that money can turn into a house. The city is now pushing toward 1 million residents. The latest census figures put Charlotte at roughly 1/3 black, with a citywide median household income above $82,000. The wider metro has almost 680,000 black residents, according to the newest 2025 estimates, and it has been one of the country's biggest black population gainers since 2020. The job market is the obvious magnet. Bank of America is headquartered here. Truist is headquartered here. Wells Fargo has a huge presence. Then add healthcare, energy, professional services, and a growing tech layer, and suddenly Charlotte starts looking like New York finance after somebody lowered the rent and added sweet tea. But what are higher-income black families actually buying? Here is a very literal answer. In 2025, black developer James Scruggs and Kingdom Development Partners began marketing the Enclave at Enderley Park, a 15-home development in a historically black Charlotte neighborhood. Prices start around $875,000 and run to about $1 million. Let that marinate. $1 million new construction in a neighborhood where the median home had recently been around $350,000. That is not an up-and-coming signal. That is the invoice arriving. And there is another side to the story. Dion Nelson's Charlotte-based Laurel Street has built a portfolio of thousands of housing units across dozens of communities, showing that black participation here is not limited to buying homes. Black developers are shaping what gets built in the first place. The affluent movers are bankers, doctors, corporate managers, entrepreneurs, and dual-income families who want major city career ladders without major coastal city chaos. South Charlotte, Ballantyne, Steel Creek, and the suburbs across Mecklenburg and neighboring counties have all benefited from that outward push. Of course, Charlotte's secret is no longer secret. Prices have risen, traffic has learned bad habits, and the skyline keeps adding cranes like it is collecting them. But the reason Black families keep coming is pretty simple. There is still a believable path from salary to ownership. Charlotte is where the career ladder meets the closing table. Number 4 is where Black wealth has been doing that for generations. Except now, the money is quietly moving farther out for bigger houses and longer driveways. Number 4. Washington, D.C. and the Maryland suburbs. This one is less a city than a wealth corridor. Washington, D.C. is the job engine, but the real Black affluence increasingly spreads through Prince George's County and farther south into Charles County, Maryland. And the numbers are ridiculous in the best possible way. Prince George's County is about 62% Black and has a median household income around $101,800. Then you get to Charles County, where roughly 55% of residents are Black. Median household income is about $122,800, and the owner-occupied housing rate is above 82%. 82%. At that point, the neighborhood group chat is basically a homeowners association with emojis. This is the region's classic wealth profile. Federal executives, military officers, physicians, lawyers, contractors, lobbyists, cybersecurity professionals, and business owners. For decades, Prince George has built an entire landscape of Black upper-middle-class and wealthy communities. Now families with more buying power are pushing outward toward places where the same salary gets a larger lot, a newer house, and a little more distance from D.C. traffic-induced spiritual warfare. You can see the business succession happening at street level too. In 2025, the Washington Informer profiled Mary Hopkins Navies and her daughter Imani Ford, a mother-daughter team that owns and operates 7 McDonald's locations in Prince George's County. Mary has been a local operator for more than 3 decades and is now handing the family business forward. And at the extreme luxury end, Sheila Johnson's Salamander Empire sits just outside the D.C. orbit in Virginia horse country. Her Middleburg resort is now surrounded by 49 for-sale luxury residences starting around $2 million. She built a 5-star retreat, then essentially said, "You know what this needs? Neighbors with money." The one caution here is current federal uncertainty. Government layoffs and budget changes in 2025 and 2026 have reminded everyone that even the supposedly safest paycheck in America has a boss. But the regional wealth base is already much bigger than federal employment alone. Healthcare, defense contracting, consulting, sports, hospitality, and private business all sit on top of generations of accumulated home equity. D.C. built the Black professional class. The suburbs turned it into land. Number 3 does the same thing at Texas scale, which means bigger roads, bigger houses, and somehow a medical center the size of a small city. Number 3. Houston, Texas. Houston does not do subtle. It has the biggest medical complex on Earth, one of the country's busiest ports, an energy industry that can move global markets, and suburbs that keep expanding like somebody forgot to draw the city limits. That scale is exactly why affluent Black families keep finding a lane here. The Houston Metro now has roughly 1.49 million Black residents, according to the latest 2025 census-based estimates. From 2020 to 2023 alone, its Black population grew by more than 114,000. Harris County had the largest single-county gain of Black residents in the nation between 2022 and 2023, while neighboring Fort Bend County ranked third. Fort Bend is where the affluent migration story gets especially interesting. The county's median household income is over $114,000, and communities such as Missouri City have long attracted Black doctors, engineers, energy executives, and entrepreneurs who want suburban space without leaving Houston's job machine. This is not just people moving in and buying. Black professionals are selling the lifestyle too. Houston broker Tiffany Curry became the first sole Black owner of a Berkshire Hathaway Home Services franchise anywhere in the world. Her firm specializes in luxury and global real estate, and Curry says her teams have handled more than $250 million in sales. When the person showing you the million-dollar house also owns the brokerage, the wealth ecosystem has matured a little. Houston's advantage is variety. You can work in medicine at the Texas Medical Center, energy downtown, aerospace around NASA, logistics at the port, or run a business in a region large enough to contain almost every customer profile imaginable. And Texas still has no individual state income tax. Now, Houston has its issues. Property taxes can introduce themselves very aggressively. Insurance costs have become a real conversation. Hurricanes do not care about your LinkedIn title. But despite all of that, the value proposition continues to pull families in because the metro can offer something rare: a huge Black community, a huge job market, and enough housing geography that you still have choices. Houston is the heavyweight. Number 2 is the city everybody assumed would win this list. And to be fair, it has earned that reputation for decades. Number 2, Atlanta, Georgia. Of course Atlanta is here. The surprise is that it is not number 1. The Atlanta metro has roughly 2.3 million Black residents in the newest 2025 estimates, the second largest Black metro population in America, and about 35% of the entire region is Black. Since 2020, Atlanta has added well over 100,000 Black residents. So no, the Black Mecca did not suddenly stop working. Quite the opposite. Atlanta's advantage is that wealth here has culture around it. Black executives, physicians, attorneys, and entrepreneurs can move into a region where they are not automatically the only Black family at the private school fundraiser, the board meeting, or the luxury open house. Add the Atlanta University Center, entertainment, corporate headquarters, healthcare, and one of the world's busiest airports, and the network effect becomes very hard to reproduce. And we have a current moving truck example, not a history lesson. Actors KJ Smith and Sky Black left Los Angeles and relocated to the Atlanta area in 2025, buying a 10,400 square foot home near Stone Mountain as they prepared to start a family. Their explanation was basically the entire Atlanta pitch: more space, closer to family, real production work nearby, and a place that could function as a long-term home instead of an expensive temporary address. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry is still expanding his physical footprint. His 330-acre studio already sits on the former Fort McPherson site, and in 2025 plans moved forward for an additional entertainment district on nearby land. Atlanta does not merely attract Black wealth, it gives Black capital places to build at industrial scale. But here is why Atlanta lands at number 2. The reputation is now so strong that people sometimes confuse cultural dominance with current migration dominance. The latest official race change data gave that trophy to somebody else. Atlanta still owns the nickname. Number 1 owns the momentum. Number 1, Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And here it is, the big upset of this video. Between 2022 and 2023, Dallas-Fort Worth added 36,995 Black residents, more than any other metro area in the United States. Looking back from 2020 through 2023, DFW also posted the largest Black population gain among major metros, edging out Atlanta. And the latest 2025 estimates now put the metro's Black population at roughly 1.46 million. That is the headline. But the suburb math is why this is number 1. The Black middle and upper middle class belt south of Dallas is already mature. DeSoto is roughly 2/3 Black, and Cedar Hill now has a median household income above $101,000. Then look at what is happening farther out. In the Census Bureau's 2023 race estimates, Kaufman, Rockwall, and Johnson counties, all in the DFW orbit, posted the 3 fastest Black population growth rates among U.S. counties with at least 10,000 Black residents. Translation: the movement is not just into Dallas, it is radiating through the region. Affluent Black professionals are buying into DeSoto and Cedar Hill for established community, then Frisco, McKinney, and newer northern suburbs for corporate access and new construction, while families keep pushing into the exurbs for more house and more land. The entire metro has grown to about 8.5 million people, and census says DFW gained roughly 270,000 residents from domestic migration between 2020 and 2025, almost 40% more than any other U.S. metro. That is not a trend, that is a conveyor belt. And the local Black business ecosystem has scale. Roland Parrish owns and operates dozens of McDonald's restaurants around North Texas. In 2025, Dallas broke ground on a $10 million, 27-acre public park carrying his name, while city officials noted his investment in the reimagining Redbird development, which brought medical facilities, a hotel and jobs into southern Dallas. Think about that progression for a second. Families move into the southern suburbs because they want community and ownership. Black entrepreneurs build businesses that serve that growing consumer base. Those businesses generate enough capital to fund commercial projects and civic infrastructure. Then the region becomes even more attractive to the next wave of families. That is how a migration turns into an ecosystem. And DFW is still cheaper than the coastal cities many of these families are leaving, while offering no state individual income tax, 2 major airports, headquarters jobs, healthcare, finance, defense, logistics, and enough suburban inventory to give buyers multiple versions of successful life. Atlanta may still be the cultural capital. It has the history, the music, the movies, and the name recognition. But if we are asking where the current numbers are pointing, Dallas-Fort Worth has quietly taken the lead. And those are the 10 U.S. metros where affluent Black families are quietly repositioning right now. And notice what connects them. This is not a nostalgia story about going back south, and it is definitely not a list of cheap cities. The winning places combine professional income, Black community, business ownership, and a realistic path from a paycheck to an asset. So which move makes the most sense to you? Would you take Atlanta's network, Houston's scale, the DC suburbs' household incomes, or DFW's momentum? Drop your pick in the comments, hit the like button if one of these surprised you, and don't forget to subscribe to Black Status. We will see you in the next one.